let's quickly get in here, and we should be able to see them mating. I see Kuchava is in front and busy tempting and trying to get Tingana. There we go. And that's the welcome that we're getting. There we go. Hello guys. Welcome to our afternoon of mating leopards. That's a very warm welcome from our leopards. And Kuchava seems very thrilled about that. Well done, girl. Now I just quickly need to go let these guys know where we are, because the rest of them are all waiting for us to find them. So I'm just going to let the guys know and tell them where we are so that they can all come in. Yeah, Aubrey, I've relocated on these Ingwes. Just come from Mamba, go east out of the Mulawati. You'll see a 2-track that comes north. Just follow that in and you'll find my vehicle, not far from the road. So there we go, just help those guys quickly. And back to sleep again. It was all very brief and very fast, but that's how it is in the leopard world. It's never a long, drawn-out process. But I reckon from here they're going to mate a little bit, it's going to start cooling down, and then they're going to be on the move again. And I think they're going to go for water. So I'm hoping that it's either back towards Twin Dams, or we're going to march towards Gowrie Dam where the elephants were, and we're going to go all the way for water on that side. That's what I think anyway. And I'm pretty sure both of these individuals are hot. They've probably panted, they've exerted energy through the day, which means that there's going to be a massive amounts of evaporation that has taken place, and they are going to be a little bit dehydrated, and so they're going to want water, and I'm pretty sure they're going to head to where there is water. You can see she looks a little grumpy this afternoon. Maybe the heat is getting to her. Now, a lot of you are happy that our honeymoon couple is still around in this area. It is nice to see, isn't it? I'm so glad that she's come up this way, because who knows what's going to happen now, whether or not she's going to end up being a female that we're going to start to see coming up this way again in the future. At least she's seen this area and now knows that there is a potential for her to come up and see what's going on here. So it's going to be interesting to kind of watch her movements over the next couple of years and see how she decides to move around. Beautiful though, isn't it? You can see she's just looking around. It's interesting with her though, it seems as though every time I start a car, or a car starts, these two go at it. It's almost like it's a challenge to her when she hears the car moving, that she's able to go and mate and kind of say, this is my male, you that's making a noise, back off, I am here to look after it. Maybe you say there's so much romance and flowers between these leopards. I'm not No, not much romance. No, there isn't much romance. There's a lot of fighting that goes on. But at the end of the day, it's not because they actually like each other. It's because they want to mate and they want to just get it done. And it's not a very pleasant experience. And so they just have to bear with it, do it, and there's a bit of aggression because obviously, like I said, there's pain involved in it. He bites her, he's got this barbed penis that hurts when he retracts, and so there's a lot of clawing and growling, and she then lashes out with her claws, which causes him to get upset, and it's all just a whole process that carries on. So it's a pretty crazy way of things happening, but it works for them. They seem to manage just fine and seem to be able to do what they need to do. So really cool that they're at least here and at least they are getting the job done. And hopefully, like I say, in 3 months' time, well, 95 days, we will end up with little cubbies from Kuchava. Can you imagine how cute they will be? Another set of Tingana babies. It will be interesting, though, if she starts to mate with Quarantine. I'm going to be quite keen to see over the next little bit if Quarantine becomes her next target in this mating game that she's got to play. Head's still up, which is good news. Hopefully these guys will decide to spend a bit of time head up and be quite active, and hopefully we'll see them actually mating regularly this afternoon. I'm sure we will, and like I say, I'm pretty sure they are going to go for water as well at some point this afternoon. It has been a hot, dry day, and so I'm pretty sure they're going to want to head in that direction for water. Right, we're going to sit here, we're going to spend some time, we're going to build our tent and camp out here, and while we do that, let's go across to Jamie, who's bumbling the Mara. It has, Jamie, we've just been spoilt this afternoon so far. In fact, we've been spoilt for a number of days now, and the Sabi Sands has been living up to its name as one of the premier destinations for game viewing and for leopards in particular. We've had the most luck ever that we could imagine with our leopards. There's been, Tingana's been around, we've obviously got these mating leopards and a number of other individuals. They just have mated right now, about 2 seconds ago, just before Jamie linked to us. You can see Kuchava still standing in the back, looking longingly at Tingana, so I'm sure we're going to have a situation where she will mate again fairly shortly. They're right on the precipice of the Mulawati riverbed, though. It really does drop off. You can see there's the Mulawati just down below. So I would imagine that they're slowly but surely starting to move. They've moved quite a bit from where we first had them already. So while we were off air, they started to move in a sort of westerly direction, northwesterly direction into the Mulawati. And I'm pretty sure that's where they're going to go, is Mulawati riverbed. And then from there, it's going to be interesting whether they go north-south and whether they're going towards Twin Dams or up towards Gowrie Dam, like we were talking about earlier. But the thing is about these mating leopards is always the best thing is just to stick with the male, because no matter what the female does, she'll always come back to him. And so as long as you've got the male, you will be able to then follow and be able to keep up with them. And we know that, unfortunately for us, Tingana can be a bit elusive, so it's going to be a busy afternoon, to say the least, as we try and keep up with these guys. But he is looking fantastic, isn't he? And you can see how he's panting. So that's all just to try and cool this body down. I was saying it is a warm afternoon, and that tongue that is moving like that and is panting is because he's taking deep breaths. And what happens is the saliva on the mouth, the tongue, that as he's breathing is causing evaporation. Now, evaporation causes cooling, and cooling, they cool the blood in the tongue and the gums and the mouth, and that blood then goes into the rest of the body and cools this cat down. So the leopards and other cats have to be very careful with these kind of things, because at the end of the day they can overheat, and so they've got to control their temperature by doing this. It's much the same as an elephant would flap its ears and use mud to cool itself down. Leopards just breathe heavily like this to be able to then get into a better sort of condition and to make sure that that heat doesn't develop too much. Now, Kuchava looks like she might come again. She's slowly on her way, staring at Tingana. She's not sitting properly. She's kind of halfway up. So I think she will come towards him. And hopefully, if she does, she's going to lie down right in front, and we'll get teeth and claws and everything facing straight towards us, which should be quite nice. And we'll really get a good view of the mating process. Just now, we had the back end of it, which was a little bit of an obscene show, that's for sure. So hopefully we won't get that again. Although generally with Tingana, she has to kind of push her bum into his face and has to lie right next to him for him to do anything, or right in front of him, and then he just kind of gets up and does it and then takes a few steps away. So vibrating tombstone, you want to know how long leopards have to mate for before they're completely finished? Well, it depends on the way things go. But so just to give you a background, leopards and cats are not like us as humans that go through an ovulation cycle, and they will then ovulate every sort of 20 whatever days it is. And cats are a little bit different. What happens with them is that they come into what's called estrus, which is when the hormones increase, and it's a time when they can start to release eggs. That's when they'll actively scent mark, try and urinate, and from there males will pick up that urine and pick up the scent and know, okay, there's a female in estrus. He then actively searches out that female, finds her, they come together, and they'll start the mating process. What happens with the female is, and the barbs on the penis of this male, is that those barbs scrape the inner walls of the vagina, and that causes the female to actually start releasing eggs when the sperm is then released. And so they mate like that because that period of heightened hormones lasts for anywhere between 3 and 5 days. Generally about 5 days is the most that it will go, and they then will do that. If she comes across another male in 3 days' time, that same process will start happening again. So she'll go back into an estrus cycle, back into producing eggs, and she'll start to mate again. So it's pretty rapid with the cats, but it generally we find between mating sections is between 3 and 4 weeks. That's normally about what we would see on an average with these cats, but they are able to mate as soon as possible. Who was that now? Sounded like one of them was hissing or growling at us. I didn't see. Senzo, was one of them growling? maybe it was Kuchava just growling at Tingana. I don't know, though. I don't think so. Who's unhappy? One of them was unhappy. James, not as far as I know. I suppose it's possible, but not as far as I know. James is wondering if the females have ever had cubs without establishing a territory. Not, like I say, as far as I've ever seen. But if it were to happen, it would be in a situation like this, like with Kuchava, where she's young and she doesn't quite have an established territory. She falls pregnant and then she has cubs. But the thing about cubs is that when a female is pregnant, she's actively scent marking, actively making sure that she's getting everything sorted out and getting a territory marked out so that other females are not in that area and causing trouble, or that there's not a situation where there's some random males walking about. So she becomes very protective of the cubs even before they're born, and she does all the preparation work by actively patrolling, moving big distances, covering area, marking, scraping, calling, and she tries to set up that territory. So I think it would be highly unlikely that a leopard would not go about all of that prep work before she has the cubs, because she knows if she didn't, that would probably be the end of it. I suppose you do get inexperienced females, and maybe there has been one or two, but I've certainly never heard about it. All the cubs that I've seen have been from females that have set up a territory and have actively scent marked and gone about their business prior to them having the cubs. But very cool to see Tingana. Look at the size of those paws. I wonder how many kilometers or miles those paws have covered in his years. You can see one claw sticking out a little bit over there. So those are the claws that are sheathed. And remember, with big cats, other than, well, big cats actually, so if we think about lion, leopard, tiger, jaguars, they have the sheath claws, and basically what happens is the claw protracts. It doesn't retract. So a lot of people will say claws retract, and that's when claws are inside the actual paw, pulled inside and are actually out. Protract is when they're inside the paws and they are pushed out physically by extending a ligament, and that's what happens with leopards, is that they actually push the claw out, and the reason why is because those claws will be sharp and they want to stay sharp. So if they had them out like a cheetah or hyenas or dogs, the claws will constantly wear and will be blunted, much like a dog's paws, as opposed to cats that will be very sharp, and they're able then to grip and grab predators using claws and their paws, rather than the dog or hyena method where it's to grab them with their mouths. Vera, as we were discussing earlier, yes, leopards will hunt even when they're mating. If an opportunity comes along, a leopard will certainly take it. They are opportunistic animals, which means that they will get any opportunity they can and they will grab it with both paws, so to speak, and they will hunt for sure. So I was talking earlier about Tingana when he grabbed a warthog when there was a bit of confusion between two females that he was mating with, and so it does happen. I have seen leopards on kills and mating at the same time. You can see he's got a very big round belly. Now, yesterday afternoon, I can't remember if his belly was that round. I hypothesized that it wasn't, and that they might have had something to eat last night, because I can't remember his belly being as round as that yesterday. I might be wrong. I just, getting the excitement of seeing mating leopards, I might have missed that he had a round tummy, but I think in all likelihood they might have got a small snack last night, maybe a little scrub hare or something, as they were walking around. And it happens quite often when they're mating. They disturb things like scrub hares or little duikers as they're moving around, and then they grab them and they finish them off quite quickly, and off they go again. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does. He's definitely got a fuller tummy than what she does, and I'm sure it's fuller than what we saw yesterday. Now, she at the moment is also sleeping again. They both kind of have gone to sleep for now. I'm pretty sure that they will wake up again. Like I say, it's every time some car moves, they end up getting going, so I'm pretty sure they will. And the sun where it is now is going to hit Tingana and Kuchava shortly. They're not going to get much shade from where they are, so I'm pretty sure they're going to start moving down towards the banks of the Mulawati, which can only get better for us. The views down there would be amazing if they were on the bank of the Mulawati and they were then started to mate, because we would be at eye level. Now, that would be something that I can honestly say I haven't experienced with the leopards yet. I haven't been eye level with a mating leopard where it's kind of staring at you from the same sort of height that you are. But the The thought of mating right now seems to be long gone in Tingana's mind. He seems to be all about having an afternoon nap and keeping flies away from his nose as he paws away. Now, I believe Jamie has replicated the start of our drive and has started her drive with a beautiful herd of elephants. So exactly what I wanted in terms of them coming out into the open and spending time right on the sort of banks is what has happened for us, which is fantastic news. So we've got them right here next to us, and how cool is that? And look at the two of them. Now hopefully they're going to mate right next to us. That's the kind of hope here. How cool is this, guys? Look, they're going to mate right here. So there we go. That is exactly what I wanted. I wanted them to be eye level with us, and they did it. It seems as though the leopards are doing everything that we're asking of them, and like I say, it doesn't get any better than what we're seeing right now with them out in the open, just like they are now. It really is a leopard heaven. And if you've ever wanted to see an incredible sighting, and actually, funny enough, I've got two friends that are on the vehicle in front of me, and one has never seen mating leopards, and the other one has never seen Tingana, and they've both been repeatedly into this area, and so I'm super excited for both of them that they're getting just absolutely spoilt. And on top of it, in the place that we're in now is just a absolute dream. It is beautiful on the banks here. Unfortunately, the light has just gone a little bit too low to actually see nicely, but to have gorgeous sort of golden light on them, but we still have them right at eye level, and it is an absolutely beautiful moment to have. So super excited that they're down here, and it is wonderful that at least the two of them have come out a little bit. They were a bit hidden in the thicket at one stage, so I'm just glad that they're a little bit more out in the open now. So it doesn't get any better than that. So for anybody that wanted to ever see two leopards, and whoever wanted to see mating leopards, like I say, it really doesn't get much better than what we're seeing right now from these two. I'm pretty sure you'll see Tingana lying there for a little bit, and then once he's done, Kuchava will decide to come back again at some point, and then we'll see them mating again, and then maybe he'll get up and start moving. But for now, he's going to be very happy just to sit, and so is she. Matty, Kuchava is usually found in around Chitwa and Cheetah Plains and those areas. That's the normal kind of area for Kuchava. That's where she likes to hang around mostly. She does sometimes get seen into sort of Chitwa and a little bit into Nkoro, but for the most part it is around that particular section that we see her. So she's way out of her territory at the moment. Today is the first day ever that this leopard has ever been anywhere near Djuma. We've never ever seen her on Djuma before, so it's a first for us to have her this side of the world. It is just beautiful sitting here in the Malawati drainage with these two, and isn't she so regal? She does look a lot like her mom. Well, I think so anyway. Hello, boy. Tingana's giving us that look as if to say, I'm also regal. She's not more regal than I am. Very, very special indeed. You can see they're still panting quite heavily at the moment, so he's still a little bit on the warm side, and I was not surprised given the activity that he's had to do today and also how warm it is. It's not surprising at all that he's a little bit on the hot side at the moment, but he'll cool down. It's now at least a bit of a breeze that's blowing, and with that sun starting to go down now, it's definitely the temperature is changing. So there we go, here she comes again. can see he's not too interested at this stage. He's kind of just like, really, can't you see that I'm just... How crazy was that? Well done, Senzo. That was awesome. That's as good as it gets, guys. We've just been absolutely spoiled by what's just happened. And Senzo got that perfectly. Good job, buddy. Ashley, you're wondering if the females bleed after all this mating? No, not that I've ever seen, unless there's a bit of, they do get a bit of blood on the necks and a bit of blood that sometimes kind of forms around the ear areas, but never actually from the constant mating that we see. Maybe internally a little bit of blood, but not that I've ever noticed coming out of them. I'm going to try and sort of keep up with them a little bit, because obviously it's difficult in the riverbed given that we've got quite a few vehicles, so I'm going to try and get up a little bit. No, I don't know if Wendy will go up this bank. Let's try. We can see if she's... No, she won't go up. It's too steep for Wendy. Rusty, I think, would have made it. Wendy's a little bit less powerful than what Rusty is, so we would have had a situation where I think Wendy is unfortunately going to have to be stuck on the actual riverbed itself. Right, let's go forward just a little, because it's as good as it gets here. And while we do that, let's go across to Brent, who I think is enjoying a little bit of sunshine in the Mara. Probably you have. That's probably very true, Brent Leo Smith. But it's okay, I don't really mind. I'll take my mating leopards over your long claw today because, well, we've just got the most ridiculous scene. We've got Tingana lying, I would say, probably 2 meters from the left of the car here, and Kuchava up on the bank posing beautifully, sun setting in the background. It is the most magical scene, so I'm quite happy for you to have your long claws while I enjoy my leopards on this side of the world. I quite think that we are being spoilt a lot more than what you are this afternoon, so certainly quite happy to have it. Now, of course, Brent and I pretty much just joke with each other all the time about this stuff. We're not actually very serious about giving each other this much trouble. We really just give each other a little bit of a joke just because it's fun, and we always are competitive, and that's just the way the two of us are. It's always been the way our friendship's been, and we give each other a lot of trouble, but we actually, like I say, at heart, always looking out for each other's best interests, so it doesn't really matter too much who's got what. We're both happy when each one has got good stuff to see, so I'm super glad he got the rosy-throated longclaw. I know it makes him excited, and I hope he does get a leopard. I was talking to him the other day, and he was saying that he's had a few really good leopard sightings, but unfortunately they just haven't gotten them live yet, which is not ideal, but they will, I'm sure. Here she comes. I'm sure they're going to mate now, so we'll be in the prime position for this, which is going to be super cool. See how she runs in front. And up they go. So they continue their march northwards by the looks of things. Tingana is slowly but surely heading further and further north and dragging Kuchava with him. Now we really are approaching very close to where we had that leopard this morning on foot, so I reckon we're going to be in a situation where we're going to see them, if that leopard's still around, that we're going to bump into them. Now, of course, I want to try and get around onto the top there because the light on top is going to be just so beautiful, but I don't think we're going to be able to get going here, so we're going to have to wait for these guys to move. Come on, guys. Come on. There we go. So we're going to try and get around as quick as possible because the light is going to be spectacular. Come on, Aubrey. Now the cruisers are much heavier than what we've got here, so it's going to be a lot easier for us to drive in the sand than what they have, as you can see by them stopping. So the Land Rover is a much lighter vehicle, and when you're in sand like this, it is a much easier vehicle to be able to drive. And the light that we're about to get on these two Leopards is going to be absolutely phenomenal. We're about to get as spoiled could be. Not that we haven't been spoiled already, but it's about to get that much better. This is exactly where I had that Leopard on foot, right here in front of where we're about to turn. So just straight in ahead of me in that area is where I had that Leopard running away from me. So that's where we're heading. Hopefully that Leopard with all the noise, maybe if it was Tumba, might have heard all of this and moved off and gone somewhere else. Otherwise it's about to be rudely interrupted by two beautiful spotted cats. And here comes Tingana. Look at him just strolling through this grass and the golden light. Are you going to go back down again? How cool is that, just to watch these two spotted cats, and look at how nice that light is. Orange light. And they're going to walk right next to us. We're going to be in the prime position for these two. We're going to see them literally emerging right in front of us. Or next to us, should I say. How cool is that, guys? It really is as good as it gets. Riti, you wonder why she always initiates the mating, because, well, she wants to mate more than he does, so she's in a situation where she's being driven to mate, so she doesn't really have to she wants the ovulating process to happen, and she wants to mate and to breed a lot more than what Tingana does, and that's why she's pushing a lot harder than what he is, and so that's why she initiates it. Sometimes you'll find the male will kind of come up and sniff behind. I find lions tend to be a lot more in that way inclined, where they will try and sort of sniff the female and make the female kind of sort of bend around towards him, whereas leopards, it seems it's the other way around. The female really pushes the male. He gets kind of a little bit tired of this process and ends up stopping. But this is exactly where we were this morning, literally to the point. So I wonder if he's going to pick up a scent. I see he's stopped in this little thicket now and is just looking around, so I wonder if he's maybe smelt whoever it was that was here. Unless my eyes completely deceived me, which I suppose is possible. We're getting older these days. Now, I want to just quickly get ahead of him because he's walking straight down a path. So we're going to just turn around quickly, Senzo. And it should be really nice because they both should come in a single file, much like a lion pride, straight towards us, which is going to be as spectacular as you could ever wish for. So there they're coming. They're going to come straight over the top. How good is that, guys? And look at him with his tail up. That's as good as it gets, I can tell you right now. And she's also got tail up. And they're basically just telling the squirrels that are, or the francolins that are alarm calling at them, don't come near me. I wonder where they're going. He's leading her completely Tingana style all over the place. He's going into thickets now and starting to go deeper in. He'll eventually go towards Chelapan and he'll come out that side. Remember the other day, I don't know if any of you remember the other day when we were with them and they were going after, or Tingana at least, was going after a impala. This is exactly where we were. Hold on, Senzo, it's going to be a bit thick in here. Trying to avoid decapitating myself for about the 10th time today. There we go. We're going to get back towards the Mulawati, but now can I get down here? I'm not sure I can. Well, I should be able to get down here. Alright, there he is there. So as long as, like I say, we keep up with him, the light on these two is going to be phenomenal. And they're going to carry on. See, look how he's sniffing. You see he's sniffing now? This is, like I say, is where we were this morning. And you see, he nose to the ground, and so is she. They've both picked up the scent of something here. So I wonder if we're not about to bump into another leopard. I wouldn't be surprised at all that we bump into another individual somewhere here. The two of them have both got noses right down into the ground. So they know that there was another leopard here, and they're picking up that scent. I wouldn't be surprised we see a bit of phlegm grimacing as well as they move forward. Look, he's salivating, you see. So it was a young male track, so he knows that that's a male, and he's now salivating heavily that there's a different individual in this area. So definitely another leopard that's causing a bit of a stir. Now you see his scent marking on top. So if that leopard urinated there, he's now scent marking and providing a very clear signal that I don't care who you are, I'm now marking on top of you. This is my territory, not yours. Really interesting behavior, and like I say, I wouldn't be surprised we're about to bump into another individual. Right, Senzo, this is going to be steep, it's going to be quite nasty, so just hold on while we get down here. I just want to straighten myself out a little bit so that we don't end up rolling the car, because ultimately we don't want to do that. We like Wendy the way she is. Lev, you're asking why leopards drool when preparing to fight for territory. Well, it's like you getting sweaty palms when you get nervous or you get into a state of excitement. It's the exact same thing. It's your body's response to an increased amount of adrenaline. That's why they start to salivate the way that they do. So it's just a response to adrenaline, as he's now picking up the scent of this other leopard, so the adrenaline is spiking, and that's why he's getting it. Now, look at this. How cool is this with the light in the background? The sun just reflecting off his coat. Sure. So I don't know where she's gone. She was somewhere behind us here, but I think she's somewhere. Did you see her, Senzo? Can you see her? Senzo says you can still see her. She's still behind us. But how beautiful is that? That's as good as it gets when it comes to a leopard in the golden light. And you can see, look how he's busy scenting every little part of that grass stem. So he knows that there is something that is here, and he's checking out everywhere where this particular individual may have walked to make sure that he works out exactly who this is. Tingana, you're going to fall down this bank if you carry on the way you are. How beautiful is that though, guys? And now scent marking, a bit of dust, urinating. And then she's going to come and probably do the exact same thing. There we go. See, she's now also just checking around, scenting the exact same place as what he was. So, as I thought, they've just found another leopard not far from us. Where exactly yours? Did they find Tamba? Where? Where is it? So there we go. So they've just found Tamba exactly as I saw this morning on foot right here. This is where we saw Tamba this morning. I'm just going to quickly say hello to somebody. It's exactly where we had him on foot this morning, right here. That's why they're sniffing.
You're going to stay here?
Yeah, I'll stay with him.
Stop around, otherwise
yeah.
mine won't find.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'll see you just now. So it's just... So just quickly talking to yours. So Tamba is literally just to the west of us, and that's why we're seeing these two scent marking the way that they are. Senzo, let me go forward because you're going to get the sun better as they come through that gap. Maybe a little bit back for you. There's a beautiful gap there where they're about to walk through, and hopefully the sun will just illuminate them. You can just see them on the left coming, but Tumba's been found, like I say, just to the west of where we are now, just on the western side of Twin Dams Road, and we are just on the eastern side of Twin Dams Road. So, like I said, he was here this morning. I did walk into him. I just obviously couldn't find him again. He must have run across the road before I was able to get him. But this is just magical. We are so spoilt today. And imagine if we get a third leopard in this whole sighting, it's going to just, I don't even know what we're going to do about that. Right, Senzo, let's try and get up that bank again, because they're heading away from this area. David, you're asking if Tingana will be more aggressive because he's with the female in heat. Possible. It could be that he'll be more aggressive. You see he's starting to salivate, so eventually, already he's getting a little hyped up. But I think probably he's working out very quickly who this is. You know, their scent is, and the way that they're able to analyze the signatures of each individual is amazing. And so he's probably worked out already long ago that this is a leopard that he's smelt before. This is a young male that he knows, and that's why he's probably not as amped up. If this was somebody like, let's say he picked up Anderson's smell here, you would find he would be salivating profusely, and he would be scent marking and vocalizing and really trying to kind of get them going. But they are coming out right now, so they're coming straight towards us in a beautiful line, which is about as crazy as I could ask for. Almost looks like a lion pride walking along, doesn't it? Now there's a perfect size difference between the two. As they turned like that, it was the perfect way to see the size difference between Tingana and Kuchava. They kind of both had their heads turned, and you could see just the thickness in his neck in comparison to the thickness in her neck. Rebecca, the female, isn't scent marking over where the male is scent marking. He's scent marking, look, you see? And she's smelling where another leopard is scent marked. That's all it is. She's not actually scent marking herself, you see? She's dropping tail and is trying to mate with him. She, at the end of the day... Oh, let me go back a bit for you. Oh. Let's go forward. Hold on. Sorry, Enzo. We're going to get there now. Sorry, Senzo, I was trying to get you in front so that you didn't have to worry about the bushes in the way, because they were going forward. But there we go. Now they're just going to come around us. But you can see he's not in the mood for mating now. Now he wants to find this individual, and the way that we're walking is actually starting to angle off away from Tumba, which is good news, because Tumba is to my southwest at the moment, so hopefully he will avoid it. It's interesting though, because it's basically Kuchava's brother that they are tracking down, and obviously Tingana's son, for what we can kind of work out. Right, let's get through this little piece. Thorn tree to the leg. There's been a few of those this last few days. It's been a lot of off-roading, particularly with Tingana. Oof, look at that light as he's strolling into the sun. That is absolutely wonderful. I think he is coming here half expecting some water at Chelapan. I think this is where he wanted to come drink, but it is absolutely bone dry, so he's not going to be getting any water at Chelapan itself. It's just Kuchava that's there, don't worry. Such a funny cat, kind of looking around, checking and seeing what's going on, but it's just the female that he's been mating with the whole time, so I don't know why he's kind of wondering who it is that's walking there. But the way he's looking into that sun is just as good as it gets. Careful, Senzo. I'm going to try and just get forward so Senzo can show you what I'm talking about. Look how beautiful that is. Sunset, 2 leopards, that is Sabi Sands at its very, 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 very best. There is no place in the world that we have leopard viewing like we have here as consistently. I suppose there are 1 or 2 places, but we get excited about it because we really are spoilt in this particular area. Now Tingana, of course, is going to ruin the whole scene with him defecating. Thank you, Tingana. You've ruined my moment of being the sort of example of beautiful leopards by going to the toilet, as he would. The toilet he goes. Right, Senzo, let's try get around them so we can get the sun on their face, because it's going to be wonderful. Kuchava, you've become much better. Right, let's go around quickly. We're going to have him striding through the most open clearing we could possibly imagine with the golden light. Is that not just the most magical thing you could ever wonder? And they're going straight towards the dam cam, so as I was predicting earlier in the day, that's where they're heading. But look at that. Golden grass, Tingana and Kuchava. Hopefully we're going to get her coming out as well. He's just watching something. I don't know what he's seen just yet. There she comes. So I wonder if the two of them are going to mate here now. He's going to reverse back so that they walk towards us rather than away from us. Also, my shadow is going into their faces, so I want to try and get the shadow out. Megs, I'm sorry if you were talking to me. I didn't hear you there. Broke up again as per normal. So I believe a lot of you are loving this sighting as much as what we are. Well, I hope so. It is the most special sighting we could wish for. We're getting absolutely spoilt by these two individual leopards. They are, I mean, how could we ask for more than that? Right there. One leopard in front, one leopard behind. Like I said, sunset, and it is just the most spectacular afternoon. And how can you not have the most wonderful time and consider this to be work? I don't know. I can't really imagine it to be work when we're sitting like this. That is just the most epic thing ever. Right. Our epicness, though, is about to get hard, and quickly. We're now going into an area that is going to be almost impossible to follow these two leopards. We're going to go into the Ingwe Alley block, which I know very, very well, and is not a block that is easy to follow individual leopards. Now, Kuchava's just got a little thorn in her foot. You've just missed your opportunity to mate, because Tingana stopped for 2 seconds, which was her opportunity to get towards him. But I don't think we're going to keep these leopards for much longer. I think, unfortunately, we're going to lose them fairly shortly. This is going to not be fun at all, trying to follow them through here. I've walked through here many times, and it really is very difficult. Off they go, just slowly sauntering. And you can see what I'm talking about, how the terrain is changing already. We're starting to get thick, dense bush. Wonderful. See, so if I follow them behind, we might get a really nice shot with this sunset again. Don't know if we will, though. It's starting to get so dense. It's difficult to see the sun through the trees, although we should get it here. Careful, Kuchava, you almost got sprayed on. So she was walking and she turned around to look at us, and he let go a jet of urine that almost hit her directly in the face. Not so pleasant, except I suppose it smells like popcorn. It's worse. There's worse things to be peed on than a popcorn smelling leopard, I would imagine. Although I'm sure she'll disagree with me. I honestly have no idea if Megan is talking to me, because it seems as though my radio has gone dead again. Senzo, have you heard from Megan? Not yet. Okay, excellent. Ah, there we go. There's Megan again. It's just breaking up quite badly. So I'm going to try and keep up with these guys. I really don't know if I'm going to manage, because, like I say, it's about to get very dense and very thick. And, well, like I say, that's the problem is once it gets like this, and I'm all on my own, so chances of keeping up with him is very slim. But from one beautiful cat in the afternoon sunset to, well, Jamie Patterson in the Mara with another big cat in the sunset.